"Sir?" she asked. "I'm leaving for the front in the morning," he said. "I'll have my things ready to go," Vlora said. "You're not coming yet." Vlora swallowed. She didn't like the sound of that. "A Prylite guard escaped the battle at the villa," Tamas said, glancing down at the grave. "A man named Vlora." "Yes, sir." "Vlora means to go to the enemy with all of the intelligence that Charlemagne gleaned during the meetings of my council, including troop movements and supply records. We're not entirely sure how much information he has, but we know it has some value. I want you to find him, capture him, secure that intelligence, and then join me at the front in a week." "Are you certain you want me on this, sir?" Vlora had no delusions. She was one of Tamas's best powder mages, invaluable on the battlefield. To have a hunting spy seemed like a waste of her talents. Tamas made fists with both hands. She could see him trembling. "Taniel is in a coma. The enemy knocks on our southern gates. I can barely stand the sight of you, yet here I am. Yes, it's important." Vlora avoided meeting his eyes. "Yes, sir." "Sir, the ambush at the villa was a week ago. Vlora may already be over the border." Tamas visibly brought himself under control. "Our borders are closed, and Vlora is a cautious man. He'll be waiting for the fighting to start so he can sneak over in the chaos." Vlora opened her mouth, but Tamas seemed to have anticipated her next question. "It's important," he said, "but I can't spare any more men. You are completely on your own." Vlora did some mental math. If he wanted her to join him at the front in a week, that only left her 3 days to find Vlora. "And if I fail?" "And so be it," Tamas said simply. "The war will go on, and the enemy will have a new advantage." Tamas turned on his heel and left Vlora alone to finish her watch in the graveyard. She watched him leave and worked to steady her breathing. 3 days before she could head to the front, where she would either arrive with an extra notch in her rifle stock or empty-handed. The mission would give her a chance to clean up after the villa, to give Sabon's death some kind of meaning. If she knew Tamas, and she had for many years, this was an olive branch. Perhaps a test of sorts, a chance to win her way back into his good graces. She had better not fail. Vlora could count the number of people she considered friends on one hand. She'd been a loner as a child, and through her teens she'd never really needed anyone but Taniel. It was 4 a.m, a full 24 hours after receiving her assignment, and she was wishing she had spent a little more time developing other relationships. She had wasted the entirety of the last day canvassing the city for any sign of Vlora, only to find out the man, like her, had no friends in Adopest. All his known associates had been members of Charlemagne's guard, and were either dead or captured, and none of the captives knew where he might have gone to ground. His wife and family lived in Bredania. Vlora had exhausted every lead she could think of. Which brought her to the officers' mess in downtown Adopest. The mess was surprisingly busy at this hour of the morning. Most of the officers were shipping to the front within 24 hours with their commands. The room was filled with the sound of drunken laughter, heated conversation, and gambling. Soldiers enjoying their last hurrah before heading toward the front. The tables nearest the door went silent as Vlora passed. She tried not to notice, giving a few of the men a thin smile, and headed over to the bar where the barkeep eyed her silver powder-keg pin before pouring her a beer. She turned around and leaned against the bar, letting her eyes roam over the large room with its vaulted ceiling, crimson drapes, and white tablecloths. It was lit by half a dozen chandeliers, the fireplaces roaring to take off the chill of the approaching storm. The occupants of more than one nearby table noticed her gaze, and, none too subtly, pulled in an open seat, or even glared back at her, openly hostile. She told herself that they weren't worth her time. She had work to do.